souls, and welcome back. Today's Pick a Card Tarot and Oracle reading is about advice for new beginnings. Whether you are starting a new job, a new relationship, or just some new project that you're excited about, this Pick a Card Tarot and Oracle reading is designed to give you advice about how to move forward and how to progress on this journey. I'm calling this the Fool's Journey because the tarot is ultimately a record of the Fool's journey as they move forward. And the Fool is the beginning card. It's new beginnings. It is taking a leap and going for what you want to do. Before we even start pulling cards, I want you to know that this video is designed to be encouraging for you to move forward, for you to go after your dreams. There are so many people in this life that'll tell us not to go after our dreams. Don't go for what you want because of their experience, because of their perspective. If you've stumbled upon this video and you're hearing this message, it is time for action. It is time to take that leap of faith and try. It is time to try to do what you've always wanted to do. So now let's get a little more specific and pick some piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. I do want to take this time to remind you that this is a general reading, so not all messages will resonate with everyone, and that's perfectly okay. Take what resonates, leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate, don't dwell on it. It's not meant for you at this time. If you feel drawn to multiple piles, that is perfectly okay. It simply means your message is spread out throughout the multiple piles. So without further ado, let's get started with pile number 1. Hello to all of you who picked pile number 1. We're going to start with your tarot cards. So you're starting off with the 3 of Wands, moving into the Death card, and then the 4 of Coins. So first of all, this is looking into the future and seeing what your different options are. This is knowing that there are different options, there are different paths, there are different routes that you can take to reach your dream. There isn't just one path to get to your goal. There are multiple. You have options. So if you feel like you're just set on one path, but it doesn't necessarily feel right, and perhaps that's what's holding you back, is that you're like, this is the way that I envision myself moving forward, but there's something off about that. This is just telling you to look to the future. Perhaps there's something that you're missing. Perhaps there's a door that you could go through, a path you could go down. Perhaps this is knowledge that you need to learn. There's something bigger that is available for you. You just need to discover it. With the Death card here, this is transformation. This is the ability to transform and to change your story. A rebirth, almost. I'm feeling like for a lot of you, this is going to be a large transformation when you can find that deeper perspective, that kind of almost like a bird's eye view. When you can see the bigger picture, that is really when the transformation is going to happen, and you'll just sail along with this journey. Like, it'll just be time to go, and you'll move forward, and it'll just be, I don't want to say easy, because nothing in life is easy, especially nothing worth doing. You know, things are going to be difficult, but it's almost like when you can see this deeper perspective, this bigger perspective, there's going to be perhaps an aha moment, that moment of, oh, I finally get it. I understand what I'm supposed to do, where I'm going from here, and how I'm going to get there. It's like you suddenly see the opportunity available to you, and it might have been in front of your eyes this whole time, but you just weren't willing to see it. And then we have the Four of Coins here. And this card is one of contemplation. It is a card of reevaluation. So perhaps on this journey, it's just reevaluating something that is preventing you from getting started. When we want to start new adventures, new opportunities, whatever we want to call it, we will always have pros and cons in our mind. We will always have an idea of what's holding us back and what is encouraging us to go forward. So as you move along this journey, I want you to contemplate what those pros and cons are and why you consider them to be pros or cons. Because sometimes something that we see as a con, something that is holding us back, is not actually holding us back, but it's the fear of something that is holding us back. So is this con an actual block, like a physical block preventing you from moving forward, or is it a mental block? This card, the Four of Coins, also speaks of meditation. So allowing yourself to take time to calm the mind and observe the thoughts that are going on in your head over this new adventure, over this new journey, new relationship, whatever it might be. Allow yourself to actually sit in moments of stillness, in moments of calm, and hear the thoughts that you're telling yourself about it. You don't need to interact with these thoughts, just observe them, because that will give you a bigger insight into your subconscious and what is perhaps blocking you. Interesting. We have the card of Dawn, which is the light after the darkness. Is that going to focus? I'm trying new angles, guys, trying to get things to be the best that they can be. But it's just progress over perfection, right? As everything needs to be. But we have the card of light. Dawn, light after the darkness. And it's just like what I was saying with this death card, it's a rebirth. And then we have the apple. Risk and reward. You know, if a poisoned apple is not symbolic of death and transformation, then I don't know what is. But anyways, we have to weigh the risk and the reward, like I was saying, with the pros and the cons. It's a different way to phrase it, but it's the same kind of thought. What will benefit us in this situation, and what could potentially be harmful? If you are absolutely starving, then the 1 in a million chance that that apple is poisoned might be worth the risk. If you haven't eaten anything in days, it might be worth taking a bite of that apple. You could be satiated from that apple, or, you know, it could provide a risk, but you'll never really know. And a lot of the times, our fear is rooted in lack of knowledge. It's rooted in uncertainty. It's rooted in past experiences, which may or may not reflect the current situation and the current experience. So again, it's about this balancing act of risk and reward, of the pros and the cons, as you move forward along this journey. And I mean, we don't live in a fairy tale, right? There aren't evil queens out to get us. I mean, there are evil people in this world, but it's more the fear of the story than the actual event. We have a time to give rather than take. And now giving doesn't always necessarily mean to someone else. You can give to yourself. And we have the card of expect powerful change. This card has come into my awareness quite a lot recently. And it's one that seems to come with a connotation of we don't want things to change. A lot of people tell themselves the story that they can't change, that people can't change, that situations can't change. It's not that they don't want something to change. It's that the situation, life can't change. Life is what it is. But what if we change that narrative? What if we just expect things to change? And when you look at life in a more mundane sense and you think, things don't change. My body's the same as it's always been. My physical appearance is the same. It's been the same for however long, I've been in the same job or the same career path for so long. I've always been in bad relationships. There's all these things that we tell ourselves that this is how my story goes. This is how my life goes. But then when we look at the little mundane things in life, you see change is abundant. Change is everywhere. You might have plans to go for lunch at a certain place on your lunch break. And then a coworker is like, hey, I'm going to check out this new restaurant that just opened down the street. Do you want to go with me? You say, of course. Well, just that is a moment of change. And that change could reflect a change in your whole reality. You were going to stick to your mundane, everyday, this is where I go for lunch. And now you're trying something new. Perhaps you'll meet someone new. Perhaps there'll be not even perhaps, there will be a new experience if you've never been there. And that just shows a change that we so often might overlook. And yet here it is. 5 minutes ago, you were expecting one thing. Something happened that has changed what was expected. And yet we still tell ourselves that things don't change, right? You never meet anyone good. You never get opportunities for promotion. Well, accepting that change to go to a new restaurant could put you on a completely different trajectory in your life and you would never know it. But if you're open to the idea of change, if you're open to the idea that things can change in a moment, you'll be amazed at how you allow things to change. The relationship that you want to grow, the career that you want a promotion in, the business that you've started, all of these things are suddenly changing and growing and progressing in new and amazing ways because you are expecting things to change as opposed to saying things don't change. And also don't be afraid of change. Change is normal. Change is a part of life. Things change. Like I was saying here, we might see a path with this Three of Wands. We might see a path that we want to go down. We might see our future in one direction and think this is the only road to get there. But when you can be willing to see change, perhaps the shortcut appears. Perhaps a new path appears that will get you to your destination quicker than you ever thought possible. So So we have the card of flashover. It's all in your head. Are we going to focus? It's all in your head, meaning the fear of change, the fear of uncertainty, of the unknown. We have the card of mosaic. Let chance play its creative role in your life. Speaking of chance, here we have the mosaic. Let chance play its creative role in your life. You never know what could happen. And if you just say, nope, this isn't going to happen, this is not for me, why bother trying, then you're not letting chance take its role. You're blocking it before it even begins. We have the card of burdock, which is purification. I think of purification, I think of cleansing, I think of the symbolic rebirth of clearing, perhaps even purifying this apple, and just knowing that that apple is good for you, that it is a risk worth taking, shining light into that darkness so that the shadow no longer terrifies you. But then you can also think of purification in terms of purity, of innocence, and the innocence of the fool as they take that first leap into the unknown. Their mind isn't clouded with the negatives, with the risks, with the cons. And I'm sorry, there's a kid screaming outside. I think they're having fun. It's not one of my kids. They're just outside playing. So I'm sorry for that distraction. But, you know, hey, the purity of a child outside playing without stress, without worry about what climbing that tree might do. You know, they're not concerned about falling from that tree. They're not concerned about perhaps ants that are living or climbing up that tree. They're not concerned about the spider web that they pass. They're just climbing that tree because it's fun. It's an adventure. And the risk of climbing the tree is well worth it. We have motherwort, courage. It takes courage to climb that tree. It does. But it also just takes that carefree innocence of not knowing what the negative outcomes should be, or could be, not should be, could be. You know, and when you don't know all the fears and all the negatives and all the cons that could possibly happen, you tend to be a little braver, right? When you don't have this list of this is everything that could go wrong, it's a lot easier to feel brave. It's a lot easier to feel courageous. It's a lot easier to go after it. So stop overthinking it. We've got that all in your head card, right? Stop overthinking it and allow yourself to try. And then your last card is ephedra, expansion. Expanding your mind to the possibilities. Expanding your consciousness to connect with that of your higher self. To connect with the universe and just trust that, you know what, I'm putting out the energy, the vibration, the manifestation, whatever you want to call it, the intention. I'm putting out the intention that this person, my SP, will be in a relationship with me. We are going to start fresh and things are going to work. I'm putting out the intention that my boss is going to see my potential and give me a raise. I'm putting out the intention that this new business venture that I'm starting is going to take off. It is going to, be everything I dreamed of it to be, right? Expand your mind to connect with that energy of the universe and trust that it's connecting. Yeah. But also don't close yourself off to what happens if. Don't close yourself off because of the rewards or of the risk or the cons or, whatever this apple might potentially represent to you, right? Shine a light into the darkness. Acknowledge that there are fears there, but those fears are not going to dictate as you move forward. Just because you've been in shitty relationships in the past does not mean that this relationship is going to be shitty. Just because you've been fired from a job before does not mean that this new job is not going to allow you to reach financial freedom. Just because something didn't work out in the past does not mean that this endeavor is not going to work out. Expand your mind of the possibility that things do change and that you can give your energy to this task in the moment. You can give your energy to this task and know that you are going to be successful with what you want to do. Okay? So that is your message if you picked pile number 1. I hope you enjoyed this tarot and oracle reading. If you did, please hit that subscribe button and I will see you in the next video. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Hello to all of you who picked pile number 2. This tarot and oracle reading is about the Fool's Journey and how you can get started and move forward on this adventure, whatever it happens to be. So your first card is the Knight of Swords. And now, if we ever had a fast-moving, action-oriented, goal-oriented knight, this is the one. And I feel like this is your energy. You are ready to move forward. You are ready to push the boundaries. You are ready to take charge. But then we have this interesting balance here. We have the Nine of Swords. And I'm sorry, as I get used to trying to get these cards in focus for you, I'm trying my best. So we have the Nine of Swords and we have the Devil. And I feel like these two cards in combination with that Knight of Swords is you are ready, you have a plan, you want to move forward, but this energy is holding you back. This is energy of hurt, of pain from something that you're holding on to. This is past energy. The Nine of Swords is not currently hurting you. It's something that has hurt you in the past. And this might not even be something you are consciously aware of. But because of that Devil card, I can tell you it's creeping up on you. That Devil card always reminds me of the imagery of the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, right? The angel's giving you positive feedback, telling you to go for it, like, this is a good idea, I believe in you, I trust in you, and the devil's going, nuh-uh, you can't do it. This isn't a good idea. You know, you're going to fail. Remember last time, right? This devil isn't trying to encourage you to do bad things. This devil is reminding you of all the hurt, all the pain, all the trauma of your past, and is telling you that you're not worthy because of something that happened in your past. But the past is the past. You have the energy to move forward. So it's time to acknowledge that Nine of Swords. This isn't necessarily about working through trauma. I'm not forcing you to do shadow work. I'm not saying you need to go to therapy and work for hours in order to get through this, in order for your dreams to fulfill. But it may be worth acknowledging those thoughts. It may be worth acknowledging the trauma, and when you are ready, working through it. But at the moment, acknowledging it is going to be key. Acknowledging that devil is sitting there talking you down. And that devil might even be a physical person. That might be your ex. That might be a coworker who's competing for the same promotion. That devil could be anyone who makes you feel bad about yourself for wanting to go after your dreams. They are not worth your energy. We have Lady de la Muertes, acceptance and equality. Did I not just say it is time to accept? When you can accept it, and it's not on a pedestal can be good or bad. It's something that you're putting up there because you don't want to be able to reach it. It's something that is, if you think about it, this is an analogy that I heard recently that I absolutely love. You put something up on a pedestal because you don't want it to be broken. You put something up on a pedestal because you think it's valuable, right? Like, think of like a beautiful old statue, right? You put it up on a pedestal, a literal physical pedestal, because then it's out of reach of the dog. It is out of reach of little hands. The potential for it to get broken is minimal. But then we also put things up on pedestals that we don't want to reach, because thinking about them hurts. And you might not even really acknowledge that you've put something on a pedestal. You might think that it is, shoved in the back of the closet versus on a pedestal. And it's the same kind of theory, right? You don't want to deal with it. It is out of the way. It might not necessarily be on display, but it's out of the way, out of touch, and it's time to accept it. And when you can see something as neither good nor bad, when you can see it with a very neutral perspective, even if it has hurt you, even if they have hurt you, whatever the situation might be, if you can see it from a place of neutrality or equality, it doesn't have as much power over you, right? Our next card is the Werewolf, exploring wildness. Perhaps connecting with this energy and accepting the situations, the people, the moments of your past perhaps makes you feel a little unbalanced, a little unhinged, a little wild, right? Because you've let go of control. Not thinking about something is a level of control that you have over the situation. By releasing that control and allowing things to come into your awareness so that you can work through them and move forward and stop them from holding you back, it might feel a little chaotic at first. But then there will be this new level of awareness, of acceptance, of ability to control, to tame those wild feelings, those chaotic feelings. You can control them. You do have the capability to be able to take back your power from that devil sitting on your shoulder. We have the card of cannabis, which is healing. physical healing, mental healing, I feel they are both applicable. And we have the card of harmony, which is Hawthorn. So again, finding that harmony when things are feeling a little wild, knowing that even when things change, you can accept the change and bring a new level of harmony to the situation. You can heal this energy from the Nine of Swords and move into a new level of acceptance of and of harmony. We have the card of the full moon. Come on, focus. The full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Sometimes we want to just close our eyes to the bigger picture, because the bigger picture means acknowledging this energy. But again, you have this energy of the Knight of Swords. You are fully capable of going forward with whatever it is that you are dreaming of. And when you can look at the bigger picture and see what's holding you back, see where the blocks are, and acknowledge and accept those things, it's going to be amazing the speed at which you can move forward. Like that is, I feel, is like the best message for any of you who picked pile number 2, is that the bigger perspective on the situation of you, of your life as a whole, that bigger understanding is going to be where your answers lie. Okay. And then we have the card of the third quarter moon. Adjustments are required. Please focus. Adjustments to your mindset, adjustments to, I don't really feel like it's adjustments to the end goal, or adjustments to the way in which you want to achieve your goals. Like in terms of like the physical steps you need to take, I feel like it's an adjustment in how you see yourself. If you're not willing and ready to see yourself as being successful in whatever it is you're reaching for, if you're not willing to see yourself as someone who has a successful relationship, if you're not willing to see yourself as someone who gets promoted, if you're not willing to see yourself as someone who has reached financial freedom, then you won't get there. So if we can adjust this mindset to where you are not, from where you are not deserving to you being deserving, I mean, everything else is already starting to fall in place. Speaking of everything falling in place, we have the card of tangibility, which says, make your dreams real. You have the capability of making your dreams real. So why haven't you done it yet? What is holding you back? And then we have the card of Eunoia, everything in perfect balance. And it is this balance, the harmony, the acceptance and equality, the healing. You're not feeling in balance right now because you're ignoring something about yourself. It's not even necessarily this hurt or what those people are saying, what that devil is saying. But I feel like that hurt is kind of a scapegoat for you not wanting to move forward. It's almost like that is a little, having that tucked away in the closet or tucked up on a pedestal, wherever you've put it, it's comfortable knowing that it's there and it's hidden and no one's going to find it. Even if it's preventing you from moving forward. You just don't want to deal with it. And while not dealing with it isn't going to prevent you from reaching your dreams, it's sure as hell going to slow you down. Right? We started off with this Knight of Swords. This is a fast knight, a powerful knight, a capable knight. And this is what you are until you don't allow yourself to be it. So that is your message if you picked pile number 2 for this Pick a Card Tarot and Oracle reading. I hope you enjoyed this message. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button so I can see you in the next video. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye. Hello to all of you who picked pile number 3. We're going to start with your tarot cards. So we have the King of Swords, we have the 10 of Wands. I'm trying my best to get everything focused, but the universe is conspiring against me today, I feel. 10 of Wands, which is interesting because we have the card of burden there. Stop blaming the universe for what is holding you back. You are capable, you are knowledgeable, you are willing, and you know exactly what's holding you back. You know exactly what you're holding onto that you don't need to be. And then we have the 4 of Swords. So again, we have that 10 of Wands. This is a card of burden and feeling like you're being weighed down on your journey. You know that you're going to get there. You know that it's on its way. You're on the path. But you've just brought all this baggage with you. This responsibility, this hard work that doesn't even necessarily need to be there. It's like you're trying to give 120% when really 60% would get you there, right? You're trying to get 120% on a pass-fail course. It doesn't matter whether you've got a B, a C, an A, an A+. You're just getting a plus or a fail. Or sorry, you're just getting a pass or a fail. And yet you're putting this emphasis on you, this burden. You know that you can pass. But you want to pass so gloriously. You want to pass to the best possible degree. And because of that, you're going to put this burden on yourself, this pressure on yourself that doesn't need to be there. With the 2 swords flanking it, this is very intellectual energy, which is why I really started thinking like classroom. This could even, for some of you, this could be going to university or going to college or doing some kind of education. And it's just, you're putting pressure on yourself that doesn't need to be there. Especially for those of you going to school, whatever grade level it might be, whatever post-secondary institution you might be going to, whatever it happens to be, even just, it doesn't even have to be like post-secondary education. It could be you taking a class on the weekends, trying to learn something. Perhaps you're trying to learn photography like me and trying to get your camera to focus on cards. You don't have to do things perfectly. Progress over perfection feels going to be a very key phrase for a lot of you. You're not going to do things perfectly, especially right at the beginning. Things are not going to always be sunshine and rainbows, right? There's going to be pros and cons. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be road bumps. There's going to be things that make it hard to do things perfectly. And the fact that you're trying something new means you're going to have to practice and practice and practice and practice. Sometimes you can't intellectually bypass the process of physically practicing something. You might know how to do something, but until you physically get into the rhythm, until you physically get that muscle memory about how to do something, it's going to be harder. Okay? This King of Swords here, this is a card of intellectual power and authority. You guys are smart. You know you are. But that Four of Swords over there, that's exhaustion, that's burnout, that's you needing to recuperate from all of the burden that you're placing on yourself. So what is it that you're wanting to go after, and why are you thinking about it so intellectually? Because I feel like there is an element of physical practice that is going to need to be done, and you can't think your way out of it. You know, like if you are, a very mundane example, but if you're wanting to learn to do 100 push-ups, you're not going to be able to watch videos about proper push-up technique, about proper form, about how to get stronger. You're not going to be able to watch videos and read books and study anatomy and do all the knowledge-based side things that will help you on the journey, but it won't get you there. The only way to do those 100 push-ups will be to start with one, right? You do one, maybe you can even do 10 on your first day, who knows? But you're never going to get to 100 if you don't start with one. So start with one. We have the card of Black Cat, which says, fortune meets opportunity. And I feel like it's not even so much fortune meets opportunity in this case, it is intellectual meets physical. Right? It's that balance of you know what you know. You do. But until you practice it and allow that knowledge to escape your head and be in the physical form, all it's going to do is weigh you down. And then we have the card of the Underworld, which says, where all things pause and begin again. Get your head out of the books. Get your head out of the idea that if I just keep learning, I'll be able to do it perfectly. Because you can learn about everything. And I mean, I'm not saying don't learn. I am a lifetime learner. I love knowledge. I love learning about new things. But I don't ever consider myself an expert until I've gone out there and tried it, right? Like, I love working with crystals. I have read so many books about crystals, crystal healing, crystal grids, what kind of crystals they are. But I'm not a geologist. I'm not a lapidary expert. I am not a healer. I am not all of these things just because I have a lot of book knowledge about crystals, right? I might be able to tell you what you could do with these. And I do have some first-hand experience with working with them with myself. But is that going to work for everyone? No. Because I don't have enough of a physical database, a physical portfolio of this is how many times I've done this. This is how many times I have, worked with that. Or you take something like tarot reading. You can sit there and you can memorize all the messages that are associated, all the keywords, all the symbols, all the everything that are related to tarot cards. But that's not going to help you do a tarot reading if you don't even shuffle your deck and pull your first card. You might have learned about tarot reading, but you're never a tarot reader until you actually start reading. Clear as mud? Hopefully. Where all things pause and begin again. Pause the knowledge, begin again with action. It doesn't even mean you need to stop, just pause. Shift the focus, shift the energy to physical practice. And then we have the card of balance, spirituality, and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. It's about balance. You know, it's about trusting that you can learn the information from a book, but you can also experiment and practice with doing these things, with implementing them into your daily life. And then we have full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. Put down this desire to always be perfect. I feel like it's a very Aquarius trait. So perhaps some of you are Aquarius, whether it's sun, moon, or rising, to not want to do something until you can do it perfectly, right? Let me know how many Aquariuses are watching down in the comments. I, myself, am an Aquarius sun, moon, and I was born just a few hours early, so I'm Capricorn rising, but so close to being Aquarius across the board. But you know, I get you. You want to be able to do things perfectly before you do them. And if you can't do it perfectly, why do you even do it? Well, you do it because you need to practice. You do it because you will grow and you will develop and you will get even better as you actually do it. Okay? So just do the damn thing. We have the card of Phenomenon. Be still and listen to the spirits. Ooh, I am not even showing you. Okay, be calm and listen to the spirits. You know what? You're listening to the spirits right now and they're telling you to do the damn thing. But if you don't believe me, take a pause. Put down the book, sit in quiet contemplation, do some meditation, and see what messages you get. I'm going to tell you to do it. Go for it. You have the skills. You have the capability. Stop doubting. Stop claiming that it needs to be perfect before you even try. And then we have the card of Boho. Boho? I don't know. How do you say that? B-U-H-O. Transform the way you see. Right? Do you need more messages from Spirit? Here it is. Transform the way you see. It doesn't need to be perfect. You're going to be fine. You're going to do great. Trust that. Put down this weight that you're holding on to. Put it down. You don't have to, no matter what the circumstance, whether you are starting a new relationship, you know, if that's the case, you don't have to be perfect, right? Especially if you're a woman, okay? Women fart, women burp. We do all those bodily functions, right? It's not going to stop someone from loving you. You don't need to be a size 2 for someone to love you, right? You don't need to have a curvy butt for someone to love you, or big boobs or whatever. You may not feel perfect the way you are, but you are. The person who is destined to fall in love with you will love you exactly as you are. If you are wanting to start a new career, a new job, a new business, perhaps you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you are going to school, Things don't have to be perfect all the fucking time, right? You're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. Because when you start something new, there's going to be a learning curve. And you can't let those little hiccups in the plan break you. Tough love here. You can't. If you hold on to all of these sticks and you weigh yourself down and you burden yourself and you burn yourself out, then in the long run you're going to be a lot more worse off than if you put them down and you stumbled over it on your way. You're going to stumble on it and move past. But at least you're not carrying it all the way to the end. Your two herb cards are very interesting in combination with each other. So we have Activation, which is Yerba Mate, and Wild Yam, which is Abundance. When you can activate this part of yourself that doesn't need to see perfection in everything, when you can activate this part of yourself that is willing to try even if you know you're going to fail, when you can activate this part of yourself that isn't so critical of yourself, that isn't so, what's the word I'm looking for? Even just mean to yourself, then you're going to activate something within you that is just going to lead to pure abundance. Okay? You know you have the strength, the ability, you have everything you need to get to where you want to go. You just need to trust in yourself and trust in the process and know that things aren't going to happen perfectly overnight. You're not going to fall in love with a stranger overnight and know immediately that you're their soulmate. You're not going to walk into an office building one day and immediately be promoted to CEO. It's on your trajectory if that's where you want to go. But you're not going to get there overnight, and you have to start somewhere. So trust yourself. Trust that you are enough, you are worthy, and you are capable. You are. Trust in yourself. Trust in the process, and know that it is okay to make a mistake from time to time, as long as you learn and you grow and you evolve from those mistakes. You can't just learn about the process without trying it, because they are completely different skill sets. I hope you enjoyed this reading, pile number 3. I'm sorry for some tough love, but you needed it today. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Bye. Hello to everyone who picked pile number 4. We're going to start with your tarot cards on this Fool's Journey Pick a Card Tarot and Oracle reading. You're starting something new today, and how can we move forward with our best intention, our best foot forward, however you want to say it. We are starting with a card that won't focus. We're starting with the Justice card, with everything needing to be in balance. And then we have the Page of Swords. New ideas, new opportunities. You're excited to move forward. But then we have the 5 of Swords, and you're feeling conflicted. And it's interesting that we have 2 swords. So this is very intellectual energy. We have the Page of Swords. We are balancing the curiosity, that thirst for knowledge that comes with discovering something new. And then the 5 of Swords, which is competition, it's conflict, it's disagreements. And in the middle we have the Justice card, the balance scales. So it's almost like there's something holding you back because you feel out of balance. It's like you want to do something, but, you know, it's kind of like the argument of, I want to win $1 million, but I know there's so many people out there who deserve that way more than I do. Or, you know, you want to help everyone, but you feel like you can't help anyone. Does that make sense? Do you resonate with that? It's that knowledge that you have an idea, you have an opportunity, but you know that, you know, maybe you have an opportunity for promotion, but you know that one of your fellow coworkers is more qualified. So even though you really want that promotion, that new job opportunity to move up within the company, you don't even ask for it because you feel like that other person is more qualified for it. But something that you might be missing in that opportunity is that that person doesn't want that promotion. Thank you, Car. You're way too loud. That person might not want that promotion. That person may not want the added responsibilities that come with that new job position. And so while you're feeling like, oh, it's unfair of me when they're better qualified, they don't want it. So as selfish as it might sound, if that's what you want, go for it. Don't worry about if someone else is more deserving of the money. Don't worry about if someone else is more qualified than you. Don't worry about, you know, whatever the situation might be. Or perhaps if you're looking at a new relationship, but you know the ex-girlfriend or the ex-boyfriend, the ex-lover still loves them. Does that mean that you can't love them too? You know, there are so many people in our lives that we love on many different levels. And, you know, it doesn't mean that I can't bring in new people into my life. You know, it doesn't mean that I can't bring a new friend in who I love on a different level. You know, you love people for different reasons, and they love you for different reasons. And you might not understand the balance. It might seem so weird, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong or that you're not capable or worthy of deserving it. We have the card of joy, rejoicing in the present. What brings you joy? Where is your passion? When you look at the opportunities present to you, when you're feeling like you're not worthy, focus on why that brings you joy. Why do you want that in the first place? Perhaps you're realizing that the reason that you're putting up these blocks is because you don't actually want it. You know, perhaps you're only doing it because you feel you need to. Or perhaps you'll realize that, you know what, no, I do really want this promotion. I do really want this relationship, and I'm going to work. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to dedicate myself to getting this. And when you can reconnect with that joy, it's a lot easier to do that. We have the card of hearth. Happiness in our hearts and home. I'd say that's reconnecting energy, grounding energy. When you are in your calm place, in a safe place, where that hearth fire burns within you, it can be, you know, literal or physical. When you feel like, so have you ever been sitting around a fire, or like whether it's inside in a fireplace or around like a campfire, that feeling of warmth, that feeling of coziness, even the feeling of safety, that being around that fire, represents. That feeling of comfort. How can you find that similar sense of ease, of joy, of comfort, of safety in what it is that you want to go for? We have the card of repair, come free. What do you need to repair? I feel like that is connected to this Five of Swords. Perhaps this is stories that you've been told or that you've heard or, that have been forced upon you. Stories of people who are selfish and greedy and this, that, and the other because they went after their dreams. And then instead of hearing a story of someone who went after their dreams, you hear a story of you shouldn't do that because there's negative associated with it. But it's interesting because a lot of people who have wealth, a lot of people who have love in their lives, a lot of people who have abundance, prosperity of whatever kind, they don't hold on to it in the way that people who don't have those things do, right? If you are very tight with your money, if you don't have a lot of money, you may not be as willing to give it away. But if you have more, then you may be more willing to give it away, right? You think, oh, I don't want to win the lottery because there's someone else who is more deserving of that money than I am. Well, perhaps that person who you feel is more deserving of that lottery winning can't even afford to buy a lottery ticket because they can't even afford dinner. So you think, you know what, if I win this lottery, then I'm going to donate a good chunk of it to my local food bank, or I am going to donate it to a homeless shelter, or whatever a passion is that's close to your heart, right? You don't have to think that I'm going to win this big sum of money and then, or earn, it doesn't even have to be win, it could be earn. You could get a big bonus on your paycheck, or a promotion or whatever. Instead of thinking of it as someone else is more deserving of this than me, think I am deserving of this because I am willing to give it to someone who needs it. Right? Perhaps that's a mindset shift that would help you to overcome whatever this conflict is that you're feeling, We have the card of freedom, which is mugwort. Take note of this bird cage in the background. Putting a bird in a cage, that bird is very unlikely to be able to open up that cage. Though, there are some smart birds. There are some parrots and macaws who are very sneaky and can get out of their cages. But most of the time, they need someone to open that cage for them, to let them free. So perhaps, whatever it is that you're going for will give you that key to let people free. I feel like a lot of you who picked this pile, whatever you're going for is very not selfish. I don't know what the opposite of selfish is. You're doing something because you want to help others. But it's almost like you have this block of you shouldn't be doing it because someone else is better or more worthy of the position. But your heart is pure. You want to do this because you want to right the wrongs of others. You want to, and I mean not even others like as in like current generations, but past generations. Perhaps things not even really affiliated with you, but you see an issue and you want to try and solve it. You want to help. You see the injustices, the imbalances, the terrible ways that so many people are treated, and you want to help. And I feel like the best way for you to help right now is to help yourself first. Because when you truly help yourself, what you will be capable of in terms of helping them will be even greater. When you are able to progress down this road that you're heading, you don't even realize the impact that you could have. And I'm saying this in a very positive way. Like, you underestimate what you are capable of. There are amazing opportunities that will be coming for you that will help you be able to balance the scales and will help you to right those wrongs. And someone needs to do it. Don't feel like this money is, better suited for someone else, or the opportunities are better suited for someone else. You are worthy of it, and you are going to put it to the best use. So go for it. Okay? You have the card of detox. Cleanse and restore yourself. Yeah. Connect back with that joy, with that hearth fire. Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to go in this direction? When you can connect back with that, you will be able to kind of detox these conflicting feelings, get rid of them, clear them from your mind so that you can see the path forward. And then we have the card of effervescence. Cultivate love. Between the joy and the love there, your heart is pure. You're doing this because you have a passion for it, because you love it. And when you can approach this situation, this goal, this intention with love, it's it's amazing what you're going to be capable of. We have New Moon in Gemini. Communication is key. So perhaps it's time to voice your concerns. Talk it over with someone. Whether this is a relationship, whether this is, and I mean a relationship doesn't need to be a love relationship. This could be a platonic relationship. This could be talking about the employer-employee dynamic at your workplace. This could be talking to your boss about your concerns over that position that you're being offered. It could be talking to a trusted friend to help them work through and cleanse these negative thoughts. Talk it over. And then your final card, which I feel is a beautiful way to end this reading, is the Blue Moon. Believe in the impossible. Believe in the impossible. Believe in yourself. You are capable of so much. You are capable of changing the world. Don't let yourself hold you back. You got this. Okay? So that is your message if you picked pile number 4. I hope you enjoyed this tarot and oracle reading. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Love, light, and happiness to all of you. Have a fantastic day. Bye.